Last year, I bought a game that was unlike anything I had ever played before, and ended up being the game I've probably put the most time into since then. That game is a lesser-known puzzler for the PlayStation 1 called Money Idol Exchanger. This was a game whose soundtrack I had owned for years but had never actually played. It was developed for the Neo Geo hardware by Face, the makers of Honey on the Road, which I recently reviewed. Now, it's very unlikely that these two games were actually programmed by the same team, but since I was so into arcade soundtracks at the time and I knew that I loved Face's games on the PC Engine, I picked it up and wasn't disappointed. As for why I finally bought the game, it was on a whim. I was in Tokyo for vacation and some game shopping, and I had had a lot of luck with obscure 2D games for the PlayStation 1 recently, so I figured, for 15 bucks, it's worth a try. Now these days, it's very uncommon that I'll buy a game without doing heavy research on the gameplay beforehand, but I'm happy to say, Money Idol Exchanger exceeded my expectations more than I could have ever dreamed. While the title probably sounds like garbled English at first, it's a surprisingly accurate description of what happens in the game. You play a girl who kinda looks like a pop idol and exchange money. Before we get into the graphical style and story, which are rather tantalizing and a significant part of the game experience, first, let's talk about how the game system actually works. When a round starts, a bunch of Japanese coins appear at the top of the screen. You control a cursor at the bottom of the screen, depicted as a super deformed version of your character, and can pick up coins with the X button and throw them back into other spots with the O button. That's all. The basic goal of the game is to combine coins into higher values. 5 1 yen coins become a 5 yen coin. 2 5 yen coins become a 10 yen coin. 5 10 yen coins become a 50 yen coin. 2 50s become a 100. 500s become a 500. And if you put 2 500 coins together, they'll disappear, since the next level up would be a 1,000 yen bill, and there are no bills in the game. The coins can be touching each other top to bottom or side to side, but coins touching diagonally won't combine. And even if you combine more than the minimum number of coins needed to make a coin of the next value, they will still only turn into one coin. So for example, if you manage to put 7 10 yen coins together, they'll still only turn into one 50 yen coin. There are also a couple special items that will activate if you put 2 of the same one together. One clears all instances of a specific coin from the screen, the one it was touching when you activated it, and the other turns a bunch of coins into the same value, making it easier to clear big groups of coins together. That may sound like a lot to take in, but trust me, it makes perfect sense once you've started playing. It only takes about 5 or 10 minutes to understand the basics. The real depth to the gameplay becomes apparent once you understand the need to make chains, or combos. Like Puyo Puyo, this is a versus puzzle game. You'll always be playing against someone else, either the computer or a friend. The person whose coins pile up beyond the bottom line of the screen first loses, and you can make your opponent's coins fall faster by making chains. If you're not doing anything, a new layer of coins will drop down from the top of the screen every minute or so. But if one player makes a chain, it forces the coins to drop in faster on the opponent's side. And if you start getting big chains like 5 or more, it can devastate the other player in an instant. So how do you make a chain in Money Idol Exchanger? Try to imagine this. There's a 50 yen coin, and right next to it or below it are 4 10 yen coins. If you pick up a 10 yen coin from somewhere else on the screen and place it on top of the group of 4 10 yen coins, they'll combine into a 50 yen coin. Then that 50 yen coin will drop upwards onto or next to the 50 yen coin that was already there. Then those two 50 yen coins will combine into a 100 yen coin. This is a chain. Of course, if you had 4 100 yen coins already placed behind those two 50 yen coins, then after they turn into a 100 yen coin, it will join the other 4 to make a 500 yen coin. It's the simplest idea, and yet it makes for an unfathomably deep gaming experience. The possibilities are infinite. To make things even more hectic, you can keep moving around more coins while chains are happening. So if you've got a chain of 3 or so in the works, an experienced player can probably pick up other coins and add them to the mix, extending the chain. This game will stretch your brain in ways you've never imagined, and the resulting satisfaction is unmatched. Thankfully, just as much love was put into the character design and overall personality of the game as the game system itself. The main character is Mitsukoshi Sakura, a stingy high school girl whose father is the head of a bank. Her personality is best depicted in her interactions with her best friend, Takashima Asahi, who she essentially treats like a slave and walking ATM. The girls are in some kind of feud with a group called the Money Cult, which is never explained in detail, but the story mode consists of them running into various characters who then transform into their devious Money Cult counterparts to be battled in-game. There's a convenience store clerk, an annoying little girl who's probably a ripoff of Chibiusa from Sailor Moon, a shy classmate who puts on a rabbit costume which he calls a powered suit. The artists really turned the absurdity meter up to max for this one. The characters appear in the game screen where the action takes place, and animate or make comments according to whether you're setting off chains or taking a hit, and adds a touch of personality that turns Money Idol Exchanger from a well-thought-out puzzle game to an exceptional gaming experience. The individuality of each character comes through perfectly with every expression, and instead of simply doing calculations to make coins disappear, I really feel like there's some insane cutesy little girl in outrageous cosplay trying to destroy me, and I'm fighting for my life to beat her first. This is a great example of how art and design style can amplify the fun factor of a game. Money Idol Exchanger is a port of an arcade game. As I mentioned earlier, it was developed as an MVS card, which means it's hard as fuck. The difficulty is straight out of the arcade, so of course the computer is hell-bent on trying to get you to pump as many quarters into the machine as possible. The first time you play the game, by level 3 you may just think it's completely impossible and there's no way in the world anyone could possibly beat the CPU. Not true, of course, but in order to progress in Money Idol Exchanger, you'll quickly realize that any combination of coins that doesn't lead to a chain is a waste. You must exclusively think about how to build chains from start to finish. Otherwise, the computer will just thrash you. I found the learning curve looks a lot like a sine curve. For the first couple hours, you'll only be thinking about how to make as many coins disappear as possible. And then, you'll have a revelation of the basic rule for building chains. That's when the real experience of playing Money Idol Exchanger begins, and I hope that more people get to feel it, because it's hectic, maddening, and oh so satisfying when it all comes together. Money Idol Exchanger reminded me that it's good to take a chance on a game I know little or nothing about every once in a while. Yeah, there will be some flops, but when you run into a masterpiece like this, it really makes this whole retro gaming journey worthwhile. Thanks a lot for sticking around to the end. If you enjoyed the video, please do hit that subscribe button. And don't be a Scrooge.